this is what I'm going to talk to you guys about really quickly, and then we're going to take a break. I'll give you a quick introduction of myself, and I'm going to tell you about something called crowdfunding. My suggestion is that you get out a pen and pencil because I've got to squeeze this into 30 minutes, and you're going to want to know what this is. I am the host of the Right Place television show. I am also a chiropractic physician. I am a real doctor. I actually have patients here, but I can't tell you who they are because they have to identify themselves if they wish to. But that's why they call me Dr. Wright, because I'm actually a physician. The Right Place television show is about entrepreneurship. It is on broadcast television, DirecTV Channel 64. We just did 6 months, Sunday mornings at 9:30. I have different experts on, and we talk about how to grow your business. Tips from people like Mark Victor Hansen. Anybody heard of Michael Gerber, the email? Yes, had him on the show. Have a lot of different experts on the show to talk about business. Well, what's the big challenge in starting a business? Capital. That's what I hear from everybody. They don't have money to start a business. So I'm really excited to talk to you about crowdfunding, C-R-O-W, crowdfunding, because this is a way for you to get money to start your business. Are you interested now?
Yes.
Okay. So this money is not a loan. It is not a grant. It does not have to be paid back. You do not have to show a business plan. Are you interested now?
Yes.
Okay. Crowdfunding happens in about 60 to 90 days. You can raise the amount of money. Are you interested now?
Yes.
Does anybody have a project that is ready to go? You focused. You got the team together. You got the research done. The only thing left to do is you did not have the money to execute. Raise your hand if that's you. Okay, I just want to see if I was talking to the right people. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. Banks are not lending money like they used to. And it's not just their fault, it's partly our fault. People don't have the credit capacity. One of the things of credit is you have to have capacity. If you don't have the equity in your house you used to have, or you don't have the job that used to pay what it paid before, you're not making those big bucks because you didn't get with Ursula, so you weren't doing too good over the last couple of years. She had growth in her company, so we need to talk to her. So if this was not you, you do not have the ability to borrow what you used to be able to borrow about 5 years ago. Not a bad thing on you, just a fact of nature. So what crowdfunding has done is it has come out of people coming together and putting together money for projects so they can get it done. Crowdfunding can be done for a business, for a nonprofit, for a project. There are over 500 websites on which to place your crowdfunding project. The websites are actually geared towards kind of topics. There are websites for shows, there are websites for books, there are websites for tech businesses, there are websites for children's businesses. Even the porn industry has a website for this because adult material can't be on just any website. They wanted to get their money too. They're a business. Not the kind of business I want, but they're a business. So what President Obama did in April was he signed the Jobs Act. Do you guys remember that? He's on a lawn, looking all cool, all these people standing around him. Do you remember those pictures? Part of the crowdfunding act was in that. Crowdfunding is going to explode next year in a segment called Crowd Equity. When they start doing crowd equity, you will be able to raise $1 million online and sell shares of your business. Okay, that's what's going to happen next year. So you need to understand what it is now so that if you want to get into the game, this is the option that you want, you can do it. It's a newer strategy. The oldest website, who's heard of Kickstarter? Raise your hand. Okay, Kickstarter is all of 3 years old. That's how new this industry is. And I function as a crowdfunding strategist. In other words, I take people through a program of crowdfunding. I'm also one of the people that's commenting to the SEC about the new rules for next year. I teach crowdfunding for the Small Business Administration in LA and Santa Ana, which covers Inland Empire and Orange County. So I'm kind of on the front lines of what's happening, and it's very, very, very exciting. Okay, so I'm the host of the Right Place television show, and before that I was seeing patients. And while I was a good doctor, I didn't have a mentor. How many people know it's really important to have a business mentor? I couldn't figure out how to make these attorneys pay me. I couldn't figure out how to make the business part of it work. And I struggled and struggled and struggled. And finally, I went to a consulting company that just consults with doctors. And I gave them all my information, and I said, hey, you know, let me get some help so I can figure out how to market and how to bring patients in the door, and, you know, more than just, you know, the couple that were coming in. And I got all excited when they called me, you know, and I thought, okay, great, we're going to make our appointment, and we're going to do this. And they got on the phone, and they said, Dr. Wright, you don't make enough money to be our client. That was a really, really low point for me, because I didn't have anybody else I could ask. This was not, a chiropractic practice was not something you could go get a book and read and get the sales stuff on. It wasn't there. So on the side, I was doing television because I liked television, and I was having a lot of fun. And then someone gave me $1,000 check in sponsorship. And I thought, oh, I got it. It's a business. It's a business. And then I started growing the show. I started growing the show with sponsors. I started growing the show with territory. And we got up to 6.5 million homes every week. So it was easier for me to actually go get sponsors for my show than it was to get my billing done for patients. And so I phased it out. And that's why most of you know me for Right Place TV and not for actually seeing patients. So I made Right Place TV because I never wanted somebody to have that situation. I wanted to always be putting out ideas for people to grow their business, putting out people who could be great resources. I wanted that to be available. And now, since money's an issue, I'm really focused on crowdfunding because that's the biggest thing I hear, where to get capital. So this is for you if you have a nonprofit, if you have a business startup, if you want to expand, if you want to test market a product. Who has something that you're not even sure if people will buy it? Raise your hand. You have an idea? Okay, so this is great to test that. Any cause or project. It does not have to be a business. Again, you don't have to show a business plan. It doesn't have to be any of that. So, okay, so take some notes together. You need to know the difference between the 4 types of crowdfunding. There is crowd investing. That's like the Kiva loans or the loans that you get for 3% online. You can find websites for that. There's regular crowdfunding, which is what I'm going to talk about today. There is crowd equity, which is not legal till next year. That's where you're going to be selling shares of your company. You can raise up to $1 million. It's a little more sophisticated, but it's going to be huge, I think, next year. And then there's crowd donation. If you are a real nonprofit, you'll be doing crowd donation. Who in here has a real nonprofit? 501c3. Great. Okay, so that fits you guys. So you need to know the difference between those 4 so that you can choose the right one to use at the appropriate time. This is a tool you can use whenever you want to. You can crowdfund as many times as you want to. There's no limit on it. The only limit is what we call crowdfunding fatigue. When you go to the same people over and over again, how many times can you go to the same crowd and ask for a donation? You've got to know your tribe. I call it your tribe. Your tribe is your people that love you, support you, and will buy from you. Okay? So it depends on your tribe. The first book has raised $1 million crowdfunding. The first music CD has raised $250,000. That is the most that they've raised. 2 movies have done $1 million. 2 games have done $1 million crowdfunding. There's a guy who created a wristband for the iNano, and he went to sell it to Apple. They're like, get out of here with that. But you guys know what the Apple tribe is like, right? We will stand in line, won't we? Okay, so he thought, okay, I'll make a couple of wristbands and kind of get it started. So you can wear your iNano like you wear a watch. Went online, he was asking for $15,000. In 60 days, he got $960,000. Okay? Because the Apple tribe is like that. They will spend money on what they want. They will share it with other tribe members. So you have to know your tribe. You have to know the people who will love you, support you, buy from you. And I know we say, you know, we do business with those we know and like and trust. But I also add to that, and also who we are willing to do business with. Because if I do something that your sister does, you're probably not going to buy from me because you got to see your sister at Thanksgiving. Okay? So it's not just about knowing you and liking you and trusting you. Are they actually willing to do business with you? That is your tribe. That is your tribe. And that is the first people that you will go to in this process. Okay, so you need to know how to connect with your tribe and make it happen. If you can't connect with people, you can't make it happen. Target has this really interesting person that made an analog system. And what he does is that he looks at what you buy. If a woman buys certain products that are not baby related in a certain amount of period of time, it is a prediction that she's pregnant. And Target starts sending you these little magazines promoting baby products and mommy to be products. So they got a call from a very irate father of a 16-year-old who was on the phone fussing up and down and not being his normal Christian self because he was very upset that Target had started sending his daughter, his 16-year-old daughter, flyers about products for a mommy to be. So Target decided they would change their policy. What they do now is that they still send you the flyer with all the mommy to be stuff, but they throw like tires and, exercise equipment in there to kind of throw you off a little bit. But they did get a call back from the dad who apologized and said, that's not my normal self. And apparently people in my house don't tell me what's going on. So you don't have to be that exact in terms of dragging down your tribe, but you do have to be able to connect to your tribe. If your tribe is pregnant women, can you get to them the way Target can get to them? If you can't, you've got to rethink your plan. So if you are frustrated about not having the money to execute, in other words, you've done the homework, you've got the team together, you're ready to go, you've just been waiting for the money, then crowdfunding is something that you really, really need to look at. So with the different types of crowdfunding, like I said, crowd equity, if you hear that crowdfunding is illegal, they're talking about crowdfunding. Most of the writers that you see that are writing articles online, they lump all four together. Partly because they're just writers. I have the privilege of not only writing about this, but actually I work with clients doing it. So it's a little bit different when you're on the ground and you really know how it works versus, this is what's going on. So I know how it works for nonprofits. I've discovered some things in working with clients that really make it work and can really accelerate what they're doing. Because we've done it, I've done it trial and error. I got a pretty good record. Across the board, when you start looking at crowdfunding sites, if all you know is Kickstarter and Indiegogo, you haven't even scratched the surface. There are over 500 sites. And you need to know the rules of the sites. You need to know how they work. You need to know what they require. Because there are some sites that you could spend 3 months raising money, and if you don't reach your goal, they won't give it to you. So your goal could be $10,000 and you make $999.99. They will not give it to you. They will return it to everyone who pledged. And you are down the drain. Now, it is very, very hard to come back after a failed crowdfunding project. Psychologically, people, they wonder when they're giving you money if this is good, and you've just confirmed that maybe it's not such a good thing. And people just like to be associated with winners. Period. So it's really important that, a lot of people are like, well, I'll just throw something up there and see what happens. I really say don't do that until you really know what you're doing, because if you don't make it, how are you going to come back to your tribe? Got to have a way to come back. If you haven't, because you haven't started your business yet, what you do is that you create the perfect customer. Okay, and this is for everybody. Your perfect customer is people who, again, they would like to buy from you. They don't complain about your prices. They like you. They want to buy from you. They want to do, and you can make that person up if your business does not exist. If your business exists, your perfect customer is that customer that you really like doing business with. Not the one that's whining and complaining. That's not your perfect customer. Okay, so if you have a record of sales, you can look through your sales. If you don't, you make it up. And you make it up as one person. Don't go, the person's 35 to 45. There's no person 35 to 45. Everybody has an age. Everybody has a sex. They're either male or they're female. And just like Ursula said, bring it down. You have to do that same thing with your perfect customer. You have to focus. And it really does, she's so right, it really does make you much more powerful when you focus.
So we use that tribe to get our crowdfunding
Started. Mm-hmm. That's the tribe that you want.
Is demographics a part of that tribe?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You got to know the demographics of your tribe. You have to know the age. You have to know the sex. You have to know where they are. You have to know what their income is. Where do they live? Because if you can find one, you can find a group of people like them. Very few people are in a cave by themselves. I like to fish for customers. I don't like to hunt. I don't like to farm. I like to fish. I like to fish in a hungry pond. So get the customer that wants to be with you, who wants to hear your poetry, who wants to buy your purses, who wants to do whatever it is you decide that you're going to do. I don't spend time convincing anybody who doesn't want what I have to want what I have. I don't spend 1 second. The quickest way to get me to walk away from you in a networking situation, tell me you don't watch TV. I don't have a TV. I don't watch TV. Oh, thank you. Bye. I have a TV show. What are we talking about? I'm just being honest with you. I don't spend any time on people that don't want what I have. It's not worth it.
Your TV show on Channel 64, is that Time Warner Cable or is that...
That is DirecTV. They are on Time Warner Cable, but I'm not sure which channel. Not AT&T Universe, but you can catch it online at rightplacetv.com. You can see all of that. So then you don't have to worry about what time. You can watch that at your leisure. So go to your tribe. If you don't know who your tribe is, figure out who your tribe is. Some of you, your tribe is not who you think it is. For example, Ugg boots. Ugg boots came out, if you look at their very, very first commercials, they were soccer moms. They were supposed to be these comfortable boots that you could run around and take the kids here and there. Who wears Ugg boots? Teenagers. What happens is teenagers saw their mom's Ugg boots and start wearing them and making them fashionable. So now when you see Ugg boots, you see models and, nobody over 30, right? Okay, so, theoretically, yeah, airbrushing, and we don't know what they're doing. But the whole point is that Ugg boots thought this was our market. Sometimes other markets will come and take over your products because they like it. Right. So do you start going, no, it's not for teenagers. Get out of here. Is that what you do? Yeah, they started making commercials that appeal to teenagers. High fashion with these ugly Ugg boots. I don't like Ugg boots. I would Ugg boots and those plastic clogs. Yeah, I would not be caught dead with those. They don't even look comfortable. Crocs. Yeah, I wouldn't be caught dead in those. So I wouldn't be caught donating a kidney in those. So anyway, so you need to know what you're doing with that. I've had some clients that were looking at different websites, looking at different types. They needed to know what they were doing. He would have lost about $1,500 if he had gone with Kickstarter. So you really got to know, take a minute to know your websites. Okay, so we talked about identifying your tribe. We talked about really understanding what it is that you're offering. It's almost, you do have to bring people into the story. A lot of people talked about the story and about what you're doing. You have to position what you're doing. You can put a crowdfunding project up there and tell people you want to buy a Mustang. You can, but it's probably not a good idea. You want to do something that's going to help the community. You want to do something that's going to help other people. Most of you here are not like that. Most of you have something that will help other people. You just need to get it off the ground. Crowdfunding last year raised over $1 billion. You guys didn't hear anything about that, did you? It's there. We have to pay attention. We have to look at what's going online. It is about leveraging a website to reach the people that you want to reach. It can go viral, but it needs to have a certain momentum. It's not going to go viral instantly unless you have like a brand name with it. One of the components to it is that you have to create a video. I don't know too many people who like to do video besides me. I'm like, yes, video. That is the hardest part. Yes, and one other person, me and him. We're the only people that like video. But you need a video. You need an appeal video. You need to reach out to people and explain what you are doing. So you've got to get over your shyness. You've got to get over your I can't speak. You've got to get over all of that to do a short video. Go ahead. You don't have to have a website because what you'll do is you'll be using a website to put your project up. There are websites already there, so you don't have to have a website.
Okay, to get the crowdfunding.
Yeah, you don't have to.
So when you go and apply and put in your information, then that's part of the field that you have to do is put in and the website is gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna
be of you explaining your product.
Right, it's gonna be about you. It's gonna be you talking about what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
Hi, I'm raising funds for children with no feet. We want to get them some feet. We want to go to the feet market. It's really expensive. Can you contribute to go to so I can go to the feet market? They send the contributions to the website. The websites process them. They charge you. So that's another reason why you need to research the websites. They charge you.
So whatever website that we go to when an investing website, the crowdfunding,
the crowd, yeah.
Go to one of those websites.
Right. You'll go to one of the websites. You'll post your project there. The money will, they use Amazon or PayPal. So that's about 3 to 5% per transaction. So they will process that, plus the websites usually take a percentage off the top. So when you're done, if you raise your whole $5,000, you won't get your whole $5,000 because you have fees.
And the fees are taken out there, but we have to pay for it up front, though, right?
No, most of the websites, the fees are taken out. They're processed as you raise the money.
Oh, they are. So not nothing that's coming out of your pocket.
Yes, that usually does not come out. There's a couple of websites where you do have to pay up front, but that's not the majority of them.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And then, do they guarantee anything?
Nope. Nobody guarantees you anything. Nobody guarantees you anything.
Is that the same as finding sponsors?
In a way, it's sort of the same mechanism of finding sponsors, which is maybe why I was drawn to it. But we call the crowdfunding people supporters. Yeah, they're supporters, and usually there is a reward system. So if they give at a certain level, you'll give them something. $25, you'll get my book. $50, you'll get blah blah blah.
Do they give you the money all at one time, or they give it to you as they collect it?
They give it to you at the end of your campaign. So they give it to you minus your fees. You must have either an Amazon or PayPal account so that you can receive the funds.
I would just add that this is, anyone can participate. I mean, all your friends, relatives, neighbors, anybody can, and a lot of them start at $25, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave like $250 to somebody's book campaign.
Right.
I was like a top sponsor.
Right, you were top at the top. You can give any amount. I let people start at $25 just because of processing fees.
Right.
Amazon taking 30% of a buck is kind of irritating. It's like you don't want to see that. But yeah, you can participate. That's the good thing. Nobody's under pressure to give more than they have to give. If grandma wants to give you $10, she can give you $10. If there's a nice businesswoman who wants to give you $250, she can do that. So you're not pressuring anybody to give you anything that they can't give.
So you don't pay them back unless you don't meet your...
You don't pay them back at all. What some websites do, their policy is, if you do not reach your goal, you declare the goal. So you decide what the goal is. You decide if it's $1, $10, $50, $5,000, $100,000. You decide the goal. If you don't meet the goal, some of those websites will refund everyone who pledged you, and you get nothing.
What if you're under your goal?
It depends on the website. If you are under your goal, you may not get it.
And if you're over?
If you're over, you'll get the money.
So they make sure that these funders don't lose their money. In other words, so if you're under your goal, they're refunding the money back to the pledgers, so they make sure they don't lose their money.
Right.
Then the pledgers, are they getting the money from the government or something like that? Or
No, this is their money.
Their money they're pledging?
Ursula gave her money out of her checkings account. That's her cash.
And you can use it right off at the end of the year for a contract?
Not unless you give it to a nonprofit. That's why we call them supporters. That is not a donation unless you are giving it to a nonprofit.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure if I grasp this. So you go onto the website and put whatever your service or your whatever. Then you have people out there.
See, here's the thing. It's sort of, I understand that it's hard to grasp.
It's a little bit hard for me. I'm
Yeah, because the thing is, you have to have a project that's ready to go. If you don't have something, if you have something that if I handed you a check for it right now, your next step would be to go execute. Who has a project like that?
I have.
Okay, what's your project, Lisa?
It's part of my business center. I want a chef to be in there to cook sandwiches for people and help them, so they don't have to go out.
So you would hire the chef with the money?
Well, I'm not sure which way I would do it with the chef, but
What would you use the money for if I handed you a check right now?
If you had me I want to make some of my offices. I want 3 executive offices to be fully furnished, so people can just rent them by the hour or rent them by the day.
Okay, so if we handed her a check, her next step would be to go to the store and buy her furniture. So people would go online. Her project would be there. They would give whatever they want to give. And that's why I said, if you do not have a project ready to go, this is not for you. This is not, let me get $5,000 and see what I'm going to do. This is, you need to be ready to go because you are accountable to the people that you got money from. This is your tribe. Now, can you rip them off? Technically, I guess you can. But this is your tribe. Do you want to? Do you want to? I mean, we don't want to do that. We want to be accountable. You got a lady who will make you accountable. If you get with her, you're going to be accountable. So you're not going to run away with money. You can't raise the money for office stuff and go to Hawaii. It doesn't work like that. So you do. That's why it's hard to picture it because you need a project. Mm-hmm.
So like, it's a book.
Mm-hmm. Yes, books do very well. Mm-hmm. Books do very well. It works for some products. It works like pre-sales. So you can pre-sell your book. You can pre-sell CDs.
You can take that money to
Print it. Mm-hmm. Print it and give it to them later. Yes.
So a light just went off. So with my business center, the 38 different businesses that are in there, I could send them to crowd control because they're entrepreneurs and small to medium businesses.
You can send them to, I'm sorry.
I'm not, yeah, to help them out, to help their businesses grow.
Yes, to help them expand. If they have a vision for expansion, yes, they can start a crowdfunding project to get the money to expand. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is a hot little table right here, huh?
How do you know which website you have to choose?
You could talk to me or you can study them yourself. That's what I do. Not all day, every day, but I spend about 4 hours a day reading and everything because the SEC is actually making the rules for crowd equity right the second as we speak. So I'm constantly reading who's just opened a new website, what are the professional organizations. I think we've got all of 3.
What do
you know.
we say, crowdfundinginvesting.com or?
Just Google crowdfunding. And you'll find plenty of stuff to read upon. Go ahead.
What is the turnaround time in terms of once you get your project up there? Guesstimate like
You choose.
90 days?
You choose. For me, I ask most of my clients to do 90 days. 120 is a little bit long. 4 months is a little bit long. 30 days is a little bit short because you're going to miss some people's pay periods. Some people only get paid once a month or whatever their situation is. So when they hear about it, you may have missed when they got their money and they may not be able to give. So I say the sweet spot is 90 days. But you actually choose the day, you choose the amount. So it's your game to win.
Do you offer like a free gift or something for the distributors, or can you do that? Or
For the distributors?
the distributors, like can you say
Contributors.
Contributors.
Supporters.
Supporters. Yes, you can do a reward system. We call it a reward system. You make the reward system.
How do you do that?
You make it up, whatever it is you want to give them.
So you know who's giving you the money then?
Yeah, absolutely. You know who's giving you the money.
Oh, okay.
You know why?
It's not coming from the company that's giving it from somebody.
No, they will give you a list of who pledged so you can give them.
Oh, okay.
You will have all of their contact
You won't
information.
give everybody a reward. You just like
You choose whether or not you give everybody a reward or not. It's your choice.
or a raffle.
It's not a raffle. It's a reward system. So you choose. In other words, you tell people. For example, if we were doing her book, you guys know what Ursula's book looks like. She has a couple of books. So maybe for $25 she would give you one book, but maybe for $50 she would give you 2. She knows everybody that ordered 2 books, and she's going to give them 2 books. But it's her choice as to what the rewards are. You choose. I'm out of time, so this is the last one.
How does traffic get to those websites, those traffic
That's an awesome question. You have to drive it. It is not magic fairy dust. Yes. It is not magic fairy dust. You have to drive it. The websites take a percentage, but they don't drive any traffic to you. You know when Kickstarter starts talking about you? After you make $1 million and you're on the front pages of everywhere, anywhere. They don't drive any of the traffic. They don't help you. They don't advise you. They don't do anything except post your project and take a fee. So that's why you really need to get into it, learn about it, see if it's an option for you. It may not be an option. It's not a replacement for SBA loans. There are points where you need to just get an SBA loan and grow and do what you have to do. But if it is an option, you need to know about it. I'm going to answer your question right after.
So you have your own website? Could you start one, or do you have to?
You can. Now, crowd equity, no. Those are going to be federally regulated websites. Right. But technically you can. Technically you can if you know how to, put it together. So you don't have to do that. But I'm going to end my talk. What I am going to give away, because I do work with clients one-on-one, I help them get the money. I have one client, she made her goal in 1 week. I have another client that made her goal in 3 weeks, and she did not have an email list. Wow. So it's about putting together strategies. It's about the experience of what people are really doing out in the field, not just this, we got to be online and make this money. You don't necessarily have to be online. You do have to know how to reach your tribe. So I'm going to do a draw. She's going to do a drawing. I'm going to give away a strategy session. This is a full strategy session. You will be able to walk away and do this yourself. Anybody interested in that? If you don't want it, please give it away to somebody who is trying to raise the money. How about that? Is that good? Thank you so much for your time.